Okay, today we're going to bring you some vintage old postage stamps from El Salvador. Okay, let's start with, found this one to be very interesting. Then I thought that one was equally interesting, but let me take you through all of them. Here we go. This is just the building, and it's a 1. This one here is a 2. Look at the architect of that. And a star. Oh, at the bottom it says 12. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful one? Okay, and then this one here is 20. Here we have, look at the architect of that, huh? Isn't that beautiful? I love to see old buildings. It's a 25. Beautiful picture. You know, they even got the trees and everything all in there. It's beautiful. Look at the frame around it with the leaves. Just an elegant picture. Okay, and then the one I brought to you at the beginning. This one does not, let's see. Oh, $2 in the corners. The bottom corners say $2. I like how they have on the top. Look at that. Both sides. Okay, and this one's a 1. Very vintage. Look at that. Okay, and then we have another one right here. Very nice. See how nicely centered it is? In very good condition. Those are the things you look for when you're buying vintage stamps. The value is higher that way. You can always check the gluing in the back to see what time period in history. That can help you too to find out the age. Okay, look at this one, a 3. Very nice. And this one here is a 5. Definitely having a table discussion. See, when you look at pictures like that, you know there's a history behind it, a story behind it, especially to have it on a postage stamp. Means a lot. Okay, oh, and look at the train. Beautiful 3. I love train postage stamps. Says, let's see, 1896. Wow. Look how nice the trains were. 1896. Okay, here's another one of the building. This is a 2. A little harder to see because of the stamping on it. Okay, here we have a 1. Ooh, the horse on top. This is a 17. Here we have a 1. Oh, look at this with the stars and everything around it. Very nice picture. Very nice. And this one here is a 2. Okay, so probably this one here is the most interesting of them all, showing the beginning of time. Alright, so if you know the history behind some of these stamps, please let us know. Leave it in the comment section. Share with the rest of us. In the meantime, be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more very old, vintage, and rare postage stamps from around the world. Bye-bye now. Today we're going to show you a variety of old vintage postage stamps. I like this one because it comes off the paper. If you feel it, it's not smooth. It's like printed over to stick out. So look at that. Isn't that a beautiful stamp? Look at the architect of it all. Very nice stamp. I don't know if you can see it sideways. You can kind of see how it rises above the paper. Like it's stamped on stamp. Very nice. Alright, let me take you through them all. We'll start from the very beginning right here. These here, 0.30. They seem to have numbers to them. It's a Belgian stamp. Look at that. Looks like 2 stamps, but it's really 1 stamp. Very interesting for sure. Okay, then we have a 20 here. Then we have a 4D. Here we have a 50. All from different countries and everything. It's just a variety of odds and ends. Look at this one. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? General Letter Office, 3D. Then on top there it says 1660. They're riding the horse here. This is a very beautiful stamp. Very nice. So if you know anything more about this one, be sure to leave it in a comment. I'd appreciate that. Very cool. Okay, now these two are just kind of like stamped on paper. A little different. Because the price is written one way. It's like 1/8. Very interesting one. But there's like 2 of them on this paper. They're actually stamps, but if you notice, to be able to cut them, you'd be cutting right into the stamp. It's like the perforation line for them was not right. Look at that. So it was laid down wrong, but it's kind of just on a paper, which is different than the postage stamps. Look at that. If you were to separate them, you'd be taking part of the next stamp. So that makes this one very interesting, for sure. So if you know something about that, or if you know a dealer who deals with stamps who would know the answer to some of this, be sure to pass this video along. Very good. Alright, here we have a 3P. Kind of looks like a certificate. Okay, and we have govern. It's like, oh, a little piece missing, huh? 4. Cut in the wrong spot. Oh, look at this one. Very nice. This is an Egypt stamp, 10. Look at that. Wow, the purple. All the expression on the face, look at that. Very nice. Okay, then we have a 2.5D. Then we have one that's just a 5. Picture of an envelope. No mistaking, that's for mail. Okay, then the halfpenny. Look at that in green. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Now this next one, look at the type of paper that this was printed on. Very different. You can hardly see what the stamp is. It's a 25 centimos. But look at the paper it was printed on, which is kind of bluish, so it kind of takes away from the red ink of the postage stamp. So if you know why it was printed on such a paper, especially where you can hardly see it, be sure to leave it in a comment. Very nice one. It's in good condition. Just a very rare to see it printed on such a paper. Okay, and here we have a 10. Here we have a 1 cent. Johor, postage and revenue. Here we go. This one kind of looks like a chicken, huh? Here's a 2. Very different to have something like that printed on a stamp. I'm sure it represents something. If you know, leave it in a comment. Definitely be interesting. I'm sure a lot of people watching this video would like to know too. Here we have a 2. Very nice. It's nice to see, you know, the little people and everything all in there too. That must have been hard to make this stamp. All the details. Okay, here we have a 1 penny. Very different. And of course the one I brought to you at the very beginning, that's uprise from the stamp itself. It's a 5. Bayern. Pinnock. And we have a 4C. Looks like a tree. Okay, and this one here, which is a 6. Union of Burma. There you go. So I hope you've enjoyed my bringing these to you. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more rare, vintage postage stamps from around the world. Bye-bye now. Okay, today we're bringing you vintage and rare postage stamps from New Zealand. Now this one I found very interesting. It's black and white. It's a half penny. Very, very different. A few others I found different was with this one here, because of the ship and everything. It says 1840 to 1940, so I thought that that was rather an interesting kind of military one. Captain Cook, along with the ship here. So that was interesting. And I found this one to be strange. Why would someone put a picture of a bed on a postage stamp? And that's all there is. So, if you know the reason why this ended up on a postage stamp, I'd appreciate you leaving it in a comment. Because to put a bed on a postage stamp, is that because that was when the design of that particular kind of bed was first came out, or just seems strange to me? An empty bed on a postage stamp. Different. Okay, let's show you everything we have for this video. This is very pretty. This is a 1D. Universal postage, it says. New Zealand. Very nice. Isn't that a beautiful picture? That's art. That is beautiful art. Okay, then we have this one here, 45. The airplane just coming in over the valley. Then here we have what looks like his mother and daughter. This is a 1D on one side, and then health is 1/2. 1D postage, 1/2 D health. Okay, and then we have here, let's see, loading up the boat. It says 1859 to 1959, 3D. Let's see. Shipping wool in 1817. Last number is 17. 1857. Look at that. So that's part of the history when they used to load up the wool. So you get to see a lot and you get to learn a lot just by looking at some of the pictures of how things were done. Very good. Okay, whoops, that one's upside down. Let's turn that one around. There we go. Much better. Okay. So, this is 1 penny. Kind of just looks like the feel. Okay. Well, if they're going to show an empty feel, I guess that's why they show an empty bed. Interesting. Alright, so this is a 1 penny. Okay, then right here we have, well, it's marked off, whatever the amount was, then it's stamped 2D on it. Very nice. Now look at this one. This is very interesting. It's 1.5 D, New Zealand. But look at the design on his face. It says Victoria. Victory. Victory, not Victoria. Victory. Wow. Very different stamp. and here we have a 1. And we have the boy sitting there watching the game going on outside. It's a 1D. This is about health. Then we have a 3D right here. New Zealand. Very lovely frame around his picture. Okay, then we have this one here. It's a 2D. Stamped official on the top. But look at that. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Interesting for sure. It's kind of that orange color. Very different. Can't make up the date on the postage. Post office stamped on it. It's a 2D. Okay, here's a 60 airmail, and there's a plane on there, flying right over. And this is the one with the bed with nobody sleeping in it. It's a 10 in pink. Okay, of course the one I brought to you before. 1840 to 1940, 1D. Then the one I started with, which was the 1/2 in black and white, which is very interesting. If you know the value of some of these, be sure to leave it in the comment. I'd appreciate that. You know anything more about any of these stamps, leave a comment, you know, to educate the rest of us so we can all know what it's more about. Here's a 1 penny, a 1D. Now the trick to this one is sometimes they had to double print, because first they did the brown, and then when they do the black and white picture in the circle, sometimes it came out upside down. That's when it's valuable, when the picture is upside down from the writing, because it had to go through the second printing thing. This one, of course, is the right way up. Still a beautiful stamp. Okay, and then this one here, May of 1937, 1D. Then we have this one, a 2D. Kind of gives you the map and the ship in the water, and of course, the man in charge. It's a 1840 to 1940. Then we have a 2.5D. Lake Wakatipu. That's pretty. Look at that. Learning about the land, really. Very nice. Okay, and a 2D. I think the cat lost his footing there. He's checking out the birds in the bird feeder. Okay, here's a 2D. Look at that. Isn't that something? Gives you an idea of the architect. Very nice. That's a nice one. Okay, so I think maybe the most interesting one is this one right here, a victory one for 1.5D. Just with all the painting on his face and everything, I think this is rather unique. So if you know the story behind this one, please share with the rest of us. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more rare and vintage postage stamps from around the world. Bye-bye now. Today we're going to show you vintage and rare postage stamps from Denmark. This one, I think, is the most interesting one out of this group. Well, there's two, really, but this is one of them. Look how long that ship is. Really, really a long one, isn't it? And the other one I thought that was interesting was this one here, because of the horse being right up there. What a beautiful stamp, isn't it? Okay. So let me take you through all of them and show you what we have. Okay, here we have a 15 from Denmark. And this one here. I don't see the amount of this one. And this is a 60. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Very nice stamp. It's got the crown there, and that's nice. That's a very nice one. Okay, we have a 15 here. Different to see the two 15s and then the bugles on the top. Just different kind of stamp, like it should have been all within a frame instead of those being on the outside. Okay, it says 1930. Over there it said 18, I think it's, almost looks like 1810 to 1930. Not totally sure. Okay, look at this one. There's a 4. Look at the architect of that, huh? Can you imagine seeing that for real? Right in front of your eyes. What a beautiful sight. Okay, then we have a 50. And here we have a 5. Oh, and the dancing, 35. Festival. It says 1731, but that must be something else. Beautiful though, isn't it? Okay, and here we have a 30. Very nice. 1754 to 1954. That's a celebration of 200 years. Okay, and then we have a 60 here. It's nice to look at some of them because it's like you see some of the history through the buildings and everything, the architect. So it's really nice. Or you get to see part of the land, you know. So it's something to be gained by each one. Of course, they made it into a postage stamp for a reason. So there's some good history there. We got a 30. Here we have a 10. Interesting. Okay, and then here we have, let's see, 1835 to 1935. The Mermaid. So there's 100 years right there. Okay, now 30, 1899 to 1959. There's 50 years here. See how nicely centered that stamp is? Those are the things you look for when you're collecting rare and vintage stamps. And of course the one I liked at the beginning It's like an artwork. Look at the way the water's flowing and everything. It's like an art. Okay, and here we have 1899 to 1959, the 50 years, 60. He's in blue this time. Then we have the 10, or Denmark. Okay, then we have a 5. Kind of simple and pretty. We have another 10 here. And this one's kind of in a pinkish. And then a 12. Alright, hope you've enjoyed my bringing these to you. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more of the rare and vintage postage stamps from around the world. Today, we're in Denmark. Alright, bye-bye now. Today we're going to show you some rare and vintage Oriental stamps. So let me take you through a lot of them. I like this one. This one's kind of nice. Simple and nice. So let's start at the beginning. Okay, here we have here $50. If some of you want to translate some of the stuff that's on these stamps in English, that would be very nice. Just leave it in the comment section. Here is a 1. Okay, and then we have this big one here, 1959. It's just a pretty one. Very colorful. It's a 10. Very nicely scented stamp, which is what you look for. In good condition. Look at that. Okay, and let's go back to this one here. This is 6. And we have here, I believe, a $3, but then I don't know what's the 2,000 underneath. So if you know what this extra writing is all about, please leave it in a comment and share with the rest of us. It's always nice for the rest of us to learn something about this. Don't quite understand that one. To have one value but the stamp is different. Okay, then we have a 25 with a plane just flying over. Have a $10 one. And this one here has one value, but then has all the red writing on it with the ship. Okay, then we have a 5. And here we have a 040. Very nice. And here we have a 10. It says 1960 on it. Then we have a $5. It's another one that had to go through the double stamping. One for the pink design on it, and then the black and white for the picture in the center. Okay, then we have a $4 one here. And this one here, $1. And we have the airplane for 30. And this one here for 0 to 20. And here we have this one here for 8. Look at that. 2 birds flying. Okay, then we have this one for 10, I believe. Almost looks like an 8 on the left-hand bottom, but I think it's meant for 10. That might be just the part of the language. Interesting stamp for sure. Okay, and the one we started with, which was 4. The red might be when it crosses over from leaving the Oriental state, going probably to US. So the price change is stamped on it. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed my bringing you these stamps. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more. Bye-bye now. Okay, here we have a few interesting vintage old postage stamps from eBay. Not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but this one is definitely the interesting one out of this group. So let me take you through them all. Very interesting one. Alright, first we have this one here, the mountainside with the building, a 100. Then we have this one, it's a 1. Building in red. We have this one, it's a 6 of some coins. See how nicely centered that stamp is? Those are the things you look for. Nicely centered stamps, good condition. Better if it's not used, but every now and then when they have a date on it, gives you a better idea of when it was used, the time of it. So every now and then they're more valuable that way. So it all depends. Okay, and we have this one here, a 50. And we have a 40 here. Very nice. Looks like they're showing the coins of the country. Okay, then we have this one here, which is a 20. Pretty nice details, huh? Then we have a 3. And we have a 1 here. And we have the ships. Really nice. And look at this one, a 20. Kind of an off-centered stamp. Okay, so I think the most interesting out of this group is this one right here. If you know some of the history behind some of these, be sure to leave it in a comment. Join me as a friend. You can always share them with other stamp collectors too. Alright. Stay tuned and we'll bring you some more rare and vintage postage stamps from around the world. Bye-bye now. Okay, here we bringing you some Australia rare and vintage postage stamp. This dove is really nice. Maybe it wasn't properly cut, but it is a 1 penny. It is Australia. I mean the swan. Look at the swan, beautiful swan. This is in yellow. Doesn't look so yellow on here. It looks kind of brownish. Well, it's a brownish yellow maybe. But look at the design, the background behind it. Then trying to show water and the reflection of the swan. It's definitely an old one. It's a 1 penny. So I found this one very interesting, as well as this one here. It says Birth of the Post Office in 1809. Look at that. It's a 4D. That was rather interesting too. Okay, so let me take you through all the stamps we have for this video. We have this one here, 1945, 2.5D. We have a 3.5D, the Red Cross Society from Australia. And we have this one here. It's a 4D. It says South Australia. Faith and Courage. What this stamp represents. Okay, and then we have this one. Australia Peace. 1945, 2.5D. Then we have a 3.5D with the stagecoach and the horses coming over the mountain here. Very nice. It's beautiful to see the old stagecoaches like that and a team of horses like that. A lot of horses to go there. A lot of horses to feed on the trail, huh? Alright, then we have this one. 3.5D. A Tradition of Service. 3.5D from Australia. That's for all the nurses. Then we have a 3D, 1853 to 1953, Australia stamp. Here we have a 2.5D. You can see the steer right there. Pretty much a farmland behind the behind picture. Very nice stamp. Nicely centered. Okay, and here we have another swan, 3.5D swan, 1854 to 1954. Doesn't beat the other one, the one we showed you at the beginning. Okay, here we have a 3.5. 1854 to 1954. Must have been the beginning of electricity. Sure looks that way anyhow. Or maybe the telegram. Maybe it's a phone. Because that little machine in the front looks like one of those that went deep, 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 deep. Okay, here's a 5D. Golden Jubilee of Guiding, 1910 to 1966. There you go. Beautiful stamp there. Okay, we have a 3D here. Australia stamp. Foundation of the Commonwealth. Okay, then the one that I brought to you, that was the birth of the post office in 1809. Then we have a 5D here, Men on Horses, Australia, 1960. Okay. Exploration of 1960. Oh, okay. And here we have a 2.5D. Very nice picture. And we have the 5D signed picture here of the Australia stamp. And we have a 4D, 1956. And the one I brought you at the very beginning that was very interesting, kind of a yellowish golden brown, 1 penny stamp with the swan on it. A very important stamp. Okay, then the 3.5D here, Royal Visit, Australia stamp. And then we have a 2.5, which is the celebration of 100 years. Okay, so this I believe is the most interesting one of all. If you know the year of this one, be sure to leave it in a comment. Be sure to join me as a friend as we bring you some more rare and vintage stamps from around the world. Bye-bye now. Okay, today we're going to show you some United States rare postage stamp. United States of America. Look at this. We got Indians here on both sides. Look at that. This is a 1. $18.92 it says on top. $14.92 to $18.92. Look at that. What a beautiful stamp. This is art, not just history. Very nice. Unreal. What a beautiful picture. Beautiful stamp. So I found that one interesting. And the other one I found interesting was this one here. 50 cents. But look how long it is. Life insurance? Well, isn't that something? 50 cents. Beautiful blue. It's a revenue stamp. But at the bottom it says life insurance. Awful long to put on an envelope, isn't it? Very nice though, nicely designed. 4 stars on it. Okay, so if you know the year of this one, please leave it in a comment. Kind of be interested. Interesting to find out. Alright, let me show you the rest that I have here. Here we have a 4 cents. This one here says 1937 where it was stamped. This is a 3 cent. Beautiful ship. I love the ship. Okay, here's another 3 cents with the bus. See the wagon with the horses bringing to the bus. I mean the train, not the bus, the train. It says charter on top. February 28, 1827. Celebrating 125 years of the rail transportation. Very nice. Okay, and this 3 cents. 1876 to 1951. American Chemical Society. Okay, and this is 1849 to 1949, the 3 cents. Red River Ox Cart. Look at that. All part of our history. Here's another 3 cents. 1876 to 1951. 75th anniversary of statehood. Look at that. All the details that are in it. So beautiful. Got the mountain, you got the horse, the cowboy riding a horse, the architect of the building, the landscape. Very nice. Okay, and of course the one that we brought you at the beginning. It just seems unreal to see. Very nice stamp. Okay, and then we have a 2 cent one here. 1777 to 1927. And the stamp is dated 1927. A lot of men all gathered for a meeting. Pinkish kind of stamp. Very nice. Look at the details to be able to put all the people in there. All together for a picture. Beautiful. Okay, and then we have this 3 cent one. National Capital. 1900 to 1950. And we have this one. Oh, upside down. Let's turn that one around. I want nobody to be upside down. Okay, sometimes it's hard when the post office kind of stamps it and it takes the looks away. Okay, this is a 10 cent. A boy on a bike on his way. Special delivery. Nice pillars there. The old vintage bikes. Okay. Then we have Women in our Armed Services. We have all 4 branches there. Very nice stamp. As you see, nicely centered, which is what you look for. The capital is standing behind them. Okay, here's another 3 cents. 1870 to 1951, 75th anniversary of statehood. Oh, that's just like the other one. It's a repeat. I got 2 of the same. Okay. This is a different one. United States of America, 3 cents. 50th anniversary of motion pictures. Alright, so you got a stamp of everyone watching the movies. Pretty much in the jungle from the look of the little hut over there. Very nice. Okay, and here we have a bridge. Okay. A century of friendship between the United States and Canada, 1848 to 1948, 3 cent stamp. Crossing the border. Okay, and then the one I brought you at the very beginning, which was the 1 cent. Very pretty with the Indians sitting on both sides. Very nice. Okay, and then we have another 3 cent stamp here. Kansas City, Missouri Centennial stamp. I think it says 1950 up there. Can't quite see because the line is there. On the bottom says 1850. I believe the top might say 1950, not quite sure. Oh, remember, only you can prevent forest fires. How it's stamped on there. Cool. Okay, build your future. This is what's stamped on this one. Has 1853. Kind of shows a little bit of a map, but then it shows the picture. This is also a 3 cent stamp. Got some oxen and horses and wagons. You got everything in here. Kind of in the desert. The border of New Mexico and Purchase, Texas. Very nice stamp. Okay, then here we have the 200th anniversary of the birth of Betsy Ross. Oh, look at that. Flag is touching the floor. It's a circle of stars on the flag. 3 cents. It's not supposed to be touching the floor. Interesting picture. Okay, and then we have a California one. 3 cents. Have the oxen and old farmers here doing their job. Church Street Station stamped on it. Very nice stamp. Okay, 1800 to 1950, 3 cents. Postage stamps. Indiana Territory. Alright, well, I hope you've enjoyed my bringing you these. Nice vintage and rare postage stamps from the United States. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more vintage stamps from around the world. Alright, bye-bye now. Okay, today we're going to bring you vintage and rare postage stamps from Magar. This one's different, as well as, let's see, this one right here. These are rather different, all tangled up design. So let's get going and show you what else we have in this video. Here we have a 10F. Here we have an 8. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I really like the design of this one. I like the colors and everything too. Has numbers on the side. I don't know what that's supposed to represent. See those numbers on the side? So if you know anything about that, why they're numbered like that, be sure to leave it in a comment and share with the rest of us. Because that's definitely different. Okay, then we have a 30. We have a 1P. And we have this one here, a 50 filler. That gives you an idea of what it looks like. All the buildings and everything by the water. A lot of architect in that. Okay, then we have this one here. It says 40 filler stamped on it, 1945. On blue paper. And one that I showed you at the beginning. And we have a 10F. Really stamped over by the post office, so a little bit hard to see this one. Okay, then we have a 50F. Industrial area. Magar. Okay, then we have a 10 here. Look at that, it's cute to see the color and the horses, just looks so elegant. Okay, then we have an 8F. Got the train and the men with gun. Okay, and here you are with a tanker. Man holding his rifle. With the farmer in the background. This is a 2FT. See the plane flying overhead? There's a lot going on in this one. Okay. There's a 1000. Don't really see a dot there. Okay, and then we have a 60 here. It's got a 1 up there. I don't know why the 1's up there. 1951. So this was some kind of 1951 event. So if you know what that was about, please leave it in a comment and share with the rest of us. Okay, here we have an 8. See the little horse, man riding a horse at the bottom. Then you have your medal. Quite the stamp. Okay, then you have this one. 1817 to 1817 to 1882. Alright. And one we showed you at the beginning. And we have a 10. And another 10. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed my bringing these to you. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more rare and vintage postage stamps from around the world. Bye-bye now. Today we're going to bring you rare and vintage postage stamps from Argentina. So I found this one to be rather interesting. Giving the oath. So let me take you through all of them and show you what we have today. Okay, first we have this one here. He's got two of them together. They're 1/2. Okay, we have the horizon of the sun in the fields, 5 cents. Republic of Argentina. And here we have a 12. Look at that, isn't that something? It says on there, let's see, 1492 to 1929. Wow, there you go. Very nice one. Okay, then we have a 1. And we have a 4. And look at this one, a bunch of fruits for 2. And we have a 5 right here, kind of giving the shape of the land, kind of like a map. It says 1960. Here we have a 5 cent. Wow, look at the pillars on the side with the grapes all on it. Very nice. Okay, here's a 1 with the sunflower, Argentina. And let's see. Okay, then we have a 4. And here we have a 3C. Kind of young looking, huh? Okay, then a 2. 1861 to 1961. And we have a 5C. 1842 to, not 18. Yeah, 1842 to 1942. And the one we started with, which was the 5C. Very nice stamp. And we have the 1. And we have the 4C. And here we have a 10. See, now there's history in looking at some of these. Nice picture. I mean, look at that. Some good history there. Okay, then we have a 2. Look how nicely centered that one is. That's what you look for in rare stamps. And we have a 5, 1863 to 1963. And a 2. All right. So, this one I find is the most interesting out of this group. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more rare and vintage postage stamps from around the world. Every video I take you somewhere else, so be sure to sub me. Bye-bye now.